Ever since I was a kid, I rarely understood anything I was either watching or getting told. Nothing just seemed to click. This also applies to guides I've tried to watch about anything I'm interested in, such as neon movement or with my aim training. I often go to my brother for help, and he taught me to either reword it or just create analogies, and it all just ends up linking to me looking for a magical answer, and shockingly, there aren't any. It simply comes down to how many conscious hours you put into what you want to learn. And I say conscious because it's entirely possible to put 1000 hours into anything and not improve just because you aren't actively using your brain. Just for accessibility reasons, whether it be you struggle to hear or just find it easier to read than to listen to, I've left my entire script for this video, first link in the description. I wanted to say this because although guides don't really work for me, I've done my absolute best to simplify what I can understand about neon movement into one video for you all. I'm making this movement guide as a thank you for 1000 subscribers and because it was the most requested by the people in the Discord. So if you want to potentially be the one who helps decide what I upload next, then make sure to join the Discord, second link in the description. I do just want to quickly clear up a common misconception. Neon movement is something you should do for fun and not a way to climb. There are some extremely niche cases where movement can help for some little things such as distracting someone for an ace or stalling time so you can swish a reloaded gun. But even then, I'm sure you understand my point. Regardless though, let's move on to the settings. Now the first thing you're going to change is your jump. You're going to double bind it to mouse wheel down or up. It honestly doesn't matter, I have it as down as it just feels more comfortable. It's also worth mentioning, if you're on a low sense like Demon 1 who's on 800 times 0.2 in game, or something similar, then neon movement sounds almost impossible, so I recommend a higher sense. For reference, I'm 0.416 times 800. Now this one's just a recommendation, but I highly recommend stun being on mouse buttons such as 4 or 5, as this leaves your keyboard hand free to jump peek. If you don't have mouse buttons, just chuck your stuns on C, V or B, just something your thumb can press easily. Moving on to the next thing, auto-equipped prioritization set to strongest. If you have this set as most recently equipped, after sliding, you may find yourself pulling out your knife incredibly often. But if you have this set to strongest, you'll always pull out your strongest weapon in this order if any of these guns do have 0 bullets in. Movement time. With Neon, you can slide forwards, backwards, left, and right. However, backwards is slightly more awkward as you basically have to trick the game into doing so. I've turned my HUD on for this clip to show you that you can see the slide prompt above my sprint instantly vanish the second I move backwards. But because it takes you a second to start moving in a different direction, it leaves a small window for you to switch keys and slide. But within my almost 900 hours of Neon, I don't recall sliding backwards without jumping a single time in a real match, so it's safe to say it's pretty useless. I'm saying this because if you are brand new to Neon, do not actively go out of your way to learn to slide backwards without jumping, as it genuinely is useless. You'll also just end up learning it passively through learning movement. Instead, slide backwards after you land from a jump, as this is probably the last direction the enemy will assume you are going to go. If you're brand new to movement, I want you to start by just simply moving forward and getting used to jumping with mouse wheel and just getting used to the timing. Make it feel natural. Regardless if you're new or not, I now want you to do this but backwards. Now this might sound weird, but I'll mention why later. Once you're comfortable with your new bind and timing your jumps, we're going to move on to the first strafe of the two, which is directional. Doing directionals is by far the easiest of the two. All you need to do is press A or D depending on the direction you want to go, whilst holding W and moving your mouse in the equivalent direction. For example, if I want to go left, I'll press A and move my mouse to the left at the same time. Same thing applies to going to the right. If you want to go to the right, you hold D and move your mouse to the right. Directionals are easy to do, but also very predictable. Doing directionals backwards are also beneficial to learn and are just as easy. This is also known as backward strafing. Don't overcomplicate it, you are literally holding S instead of W this time. Backward strafing works because of how unreadable it is. It's also incredibly easy to combo into and out of. Now on to rotationals. They are the hardest strafe of the two by a long shot. The easiest way I can explain it is if you are basically stealing the momentum from one key to another. And just to get your brain used to the concept, if you B-hop forward, then let go of W and turn around, then hold S, you will begin moving backwards. So we are going to jump whilst holding W, let go of W and look left so the momentum is making us go to the right. Then instantly hold S and D and move our camera back to our previous position, so in this case to the right. And this is what it looks like when it's not slowed down. You should also learn this but to the left. And eventually, once you know how to do both of those, you should be able to do this pattern. Keep in mind, spamming the same rotation on someone will not work. This is where you would learn combos. I'm just showing you Reina's POV so you know what it looks like. If you struggle with this, make sure to begin to move your camera in the opposite direction after you have landed and as soon as you jump. If you want a wall to practice either strafes on, look for any wall thin enough to jump around, like this one for example. Rotationals are an insanely nice way to cut corners tightly and with a lot of speed. The second to last beneficial Neon movement tech I'm going to show you are the Heli strafes. There's honestly not much I can show you as these are super simple, but these are easy and just take a few attempts before the spins feel natural. Just remember to keep your mouse swipes nice and short. They help you ramp up speed as well as being unpredictable as they have no clue which direction you're about to fly in. Heli strafes also get called the dumbed down version of the infinite figure of 8, which I'll show after this, and whilst that isn't wrong, it's arguably also more effective as well as being easy to perform. The entire trick to learning these are getting the pattern down. Once you are out of rhythm, your Heli strafes begin to look sloppy. Try to keep a consistent number of swipes happening as well as how often you are swiping. Heli strafes are fairly strong in my opinion, as you literally can't tell what I'm going to do next. And finally, the infinite figure of 8. This should most likely be one of your final goals when it comes to movement, as it's probably the hardest thing you can do. But it's super good as you can combo this into anything you want. Just as an example, I did Heli strafes. If you are capable of everything before this part and want to try to learn this, I recommend learning this one step at a time and using that one step to get comfortable going both directions. What I mean, for those who don't understand, is you will learn the first step, such as turning this directional into a rotational and then copying this over to the opposite side. And just repeat learning steps individually until you learn how to do it. Going back to what I was saying earlier about learning some stuff backwards, I want you to learn it because that is now every single direction Neon can move. With all of this combined, you will eventually learn to do some pretty crazy things on Neon that you will hopefully enjoy. And with that out of the way, that is the movement guide finished. I was planning on this being a whole Neon guide that included movement, but this took way too long because how far in this video format is to me. So if this does well, or you guys just want to see a general Neon guide that would support an aggressive playstyle that would involve my favorite rushes and Neon techs on maps, then let me know. And of course, if you need to ask any questions about this video or just any questions about Neon/Valorant, join the Discord and I'll answer fairly quickly. This video actually took over 600 voice recordings as well as writing a script, which I've never done before. So I would really appreciate you liking, subbing, or doing anything that would help the video get pushed out. Check out Tristan for helping with his POVs. He's made a return video and I can tell you right now it's a good one, so go show it some love. I really appreciate it if you managed to make it this far, and I hope you enjoy your journey to learning Neon.